Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sister. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing pretty good this Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening.
Yes, it's been a wonderful day today. So beautiful
Ah,
outside. Ooh, it was so
good.
nice. Yes, it was. So, good evening, everybody. All the viewers and people in the audience. Want to welcome you all here tonight. We have a wonderful guest that's going to be coming on here tonight. But before we bring our guest, could you please show some love with those hearts? Show some love with those hearts and put type in hashtag eyes on Jesus.
Mm, we definitely want to do that. Keep them on them.
Good evening, Toya. How you doing tonight? Hashtag eyes on Jesus.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
since we have a good topic on tonight talking about pornography
Mm-hmm.
and guarding your eye gates, um, making sure that but first, I do want to say that this platform is where we do not sweep things under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Per se, we talk about everything, anything
Right.
that's pertaining to issues of life. So, um, just in case anybody's wondering why we get on here every Sunday and talk about things that are taboo or people things that people don't like to talk about. We do that because we want people to get into the habit of being able to feel free to express themselves as well as communicate the issues that they have
Right.
because it's okay. And when you know that somebody else is out there going through something that you may be going through, you get this liberation of okay, I'm not out here by myself. I'm not out here by myself like I thought I was, and I'm not the only one that's dealing with these type of issues. So if this person got through it, sure enough, I can too.
Exactly.
So it gives you liberation, it gives you freedom, it gives you insight that it's not as bad as you think it is.
Right.
Because we all have our struggle. We really
Right.
do.
And you're right. We've all had to walk a path where we've had to deal with certain obstacles, that stood in our way. And everyone hasn't experienced the same walk, but rest assured, there's people out here that has walked that
Yeah.
same path that you walked, whether prior to you, you have someone that's going to come behind you and walk that same path where you'll be able to encourage and inspire them and let them know that they can get through it. And that's another reason why I love this platform because it has created a platform where you and I can have a voice for maybe those that don't have a voice. Because I remember a time when I didn't have a voice. I remember a time when I was silenced and no one had done it. It was just, I just shrunk my own self because of things I had heard and my own insecurities. So I pray that in the time that we've done this, almost a year, that we have definitely touched, inspired, impacted someone's life. If it's just one person, we've done our job. And even with the guests that we've had come on our show, my prayer is that someone life has been
Yeah.
changed or impacted. And again, if it's just the one, then we've done our job. We've done our job. And so with our guest today, we're looking for the same thing with that person where he's coming in, where he's going to touch and inspire someone by what he has to say. And that's what it's about.
Yep. That is sure right. So let's go ahead on and bring on our guest so we can get to talking. How you doing, Mr. Kenandre Brown?
What's up? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all
That's
right.
good. And Kendra is not a stranger being on this show. He has been with us before.
Right.
We were talking about laughing through it, laughing through while you're waiting, while you're going through. So that was a good platform. That was a good talk that we had on that night, talking about how you can laugh through situations. But tonight we're talking about guarding your eyes, your eye gates. I know a lot of people love to say eye gates because they feel like your eyes are the gate to everything else in regard to your
Yeah,
body.
it definitely is. It's a portal.
Yes, most definitely. And even there's even a scripture that talks about that as well. When your eyes can also pretty much I would say it's like a porter through the to the body.
Right.
It's like a porter through the body to the body. So whatever you see, it can make the body move. You
That's
see what
true.
I'm saying? It can make the body move as far as naturally so. Look now. Look just. I just want to make sure I break that down. That naturally so, your body is going to do what it's going to do because it's natural. And sometimes people tend to, especially church folk. Now, you know, I'm not knocking on people who believe in, being religious, making sure that you stay in the spirit at all times. There's so many things that people want to, you know, like throw the Bible at you, but you really can't because there are certain things in your body that it naturally does on its own. So, what do you do with that? I mean, how do you teach a teenager that this is okay, this is good, this is what God has made and ordained, instead of telling them, okay, ignore it, don't do it, don't touch it, don't play with it. You know what I'm saying? Because even when for those that have kids, even babies, they explore their body parts because they touch everything. They even put their hands, their fingers in their mouth because it's a period of exploration. So when they get up in age, being
Absolutely.
toddlers and all that, they do touch their parts, the parts of their
That's
body.
so true.
So um, people automatically, some parents, they automatically just go ahead on and tap them or make it seem like it's so negative when really it's not. It's just a natural part of life, you know.
And you know what, Tyra, what you saying now, that is so true. Because just to piggyback on that, it is natural. Our body, the setup, the makeup of it, and not to get all graphic or anything, but the different parts of the male and female. God created that. God put it
Right.
in its rightful place for a reason. And we may not know the initial instructions or the blueprint as to why he did it, but he did it. This is how we're genetically made, not even genetically made, but physically made as men and women. And so I think what we've done, and this is just me going to a different place mentally and thinking as the church, is that there's so much corruption when it comes to sexual immortality in the word of God. We have Sodom and Gomorrah. We have all these various stories in the word of God that's centered around sex. Uh, uh, um, I, names are leaving my brain right now, but so many stories. We all know them. And
Hmm.
so it seems like the church has taken like, oh, it was so bad, like Sodom and Gomorrah was so bad. And now in the human flesh, now that we're alive and we're in present day, we've shrunk it. We've tried to, minimize sex, minimize talking about the body, minimize talking about how the body is created, how men create and how their body reacts and how women bodies react, to where we're not having real dialect. And so what we've done generation after generation is we've made sex like it's nasty. We've
Right.
made even the topic of it and discussion of it as if it's nasty, and it's human, it's godly. God created these bodies. Let's go back to the beginning of time. If
Hmm.
it wasn't for sin, we would even not even know we was naked anyway.
That's
Sin is
true.
what came in with the and
That's true.
put us in a situation where
Yes.
we can wear clothes. But they was in a Garden of Eden in their birthday suits. Can we say that? But they
Amen.
didn't know. They didn't know what nakedness was until sin came in. And I get that. But at the end of the day, we cannot minimize what God created. God
Yeah.
created these bodies, and he created them to do what they do, man and female. And so it's like, why do we get so scared to talk about it? I understand the demonic behind sex, and that ties into what we're going to be discussing today, pornography and everything. But we can't forget the root of it. And I think that's what we scared to touch because there's so much filth that's on top of it now.
Yeah.
Well, to piggyback on you and Felicia, sex is good. Sex is meant to be good when you in the right context. Sex was made for married people. That's what the Bible says. Be fruitful and multiply. How you gonna be fruitful and multiply if you're not having sex? And I don't know why in the church we're like sex. Everybody, let's not talk about. That's one of the things we have to talk about, especially the younger people, about sex. Okay. Mm-hmm. As for a man point of view, men are visual. We're visual. Not all men, but we're visual creatures. Okay. When God made Eve, he know what he was doing. Okay. We look at the curves and stuff like that. That what attracts us. Okay. About a woman. Okay. We look at a woman and we looking at, let's be real. This is a real talk show. We're looking at the butt and all kind of stuff and the hips and, the chest and all that kind of stuff, lips and everything. We're visual creatures. We're visual people. Okay. But the eyes, okay, you got to watch what you're looking at. Okay. And what has happened with sex, this is what has happened. See, the devil took sex and made it bad. Okay. It wasn't intended to be bad, but the devil took it that way.
There it is.
And see what happens with pornography. This is what happens with pornography. Okay, you look at it and you get unrealistic expectations. Okay, because those videos are not real. They're they selling a story to you. And what happens is, with the male point of view, is we look at that and say, man, why can't my wife do that move or that position, whatever, and stuff like that? And then you put all that pressure on your spouse to do what they're doing in that porno. Okay. She might not be that flexible or whatever. And you get an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
That's leading to marriages being, basically during this time, let's be honest. And during this pandemic, there's a lot of pornography going on. Because we got idle mind, ain't nothing else to do. So you looking at pornography, you like, man, look at that. Look the way she do that. And then you want that same thing that you see with your eyes, okay? So you got the lust of the eyes going on, the lust of the flesh. You just try to please, and you put that on your wife, and your wife like, man, you want me to do this and that? Okay, the bin's undefilable. It is. But listen, we cannot put unrealistic expectations on our spouses over something that we seeing with our eyes. That's why we got to watch. Some people, you can watch certain things. I can't watch certain things. Okay, I may not can watch it. You may can watch Shade of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey. I may not can watch that because some of us gotta take our mind and take us somewhere. Especially if you're single, you definitely gotta watch what you watching. Because you start watching something like 50 Shades of Grey and all this kind of stuff. Or back in the day, remember Jason Lear? And you had them different scenes in the grass, and you had tricks. You got the girl on the wall and all that. You start watching that, you single, you start looking at that phone. Man, let me call, and, what you doing? And you hoping, that person say nothing. So that's my, perception about pornography. You have to watch everything, what you see. You have to be very careful because the eye, like you said, is the open gate. Your eye, you got to watch. You said open your eyes. You open your eyes. People say open your eyes. Okay, you open your eyes, but you choose what you focus on and what you're watching. Why you opening your eye?
Yeah, and I'm gonna read the scripture, Luke 11:34. Well, really, Luke 11:34-36. It says, "Your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. But when it is bad, your body is full of darkness. Therefore, be careful lest the light in you be darkness. If then your whole body is full of light, having no part dark, it will be wholly bright, as when a lamp with its rays give you light." So a lot of times the scripture says your eye is the lamp of your body. So if your eye is healthy, your body is full of light. But if your eye is bad, then your body is full of darkness. So a lot of people will be asking, well, what's wrong with looking at pornography? What's wrong with that? I mean, I'm just looking at it to get myself ready for my husband or get myself ready for my wife, or I'm just looking at it to just whatever reason, because people do have motives for everything that they
Right, right.
do.
True.
But if you continue to keep doing something over and over and over, eventually you start to come in and dispose from the body so many times, and then and then also you're getting rid of light at the same time. Now let's not forget that we are three-part body, 3-part people, where we are a spirit, but we also are living in a body and we have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
And because God has created us that way, you're gonna always be with a spirit. And so that's why the body and your mind be fighting all the time. All the time. So whether you sit there and look at pornography all day long, every day, and then every other day, still there is going to be a fighting part of you, which is the spirit that's going to tell you you need to drive yourself back to God because you're no longer near Him anymore. I mean, it's going to be something inside of you that's going to like navigate you, saying that you too far gone. You're in darkness now. Where if you let it become so much darkness, it's gonna be hard to get back to the light because you're so caught up in the addiction, which it can happen. You can become addicted to it. But some people be like, well, I could just look at it once a week, or just do it every other day or whatever. But what would be the whole purpose of doing it even that once a week? What's the whole purpose behind it? What do you need to do? Yeah, I just need to go ahead on and have sex with myself or have sex with my spouse. You know, okay, so that is instant gratification of the body. Basically, that's what it is, an instant
It
gratification of
is.
the body.
It is.
That's all it is.
But
It doesn't have
you telling
anything to
your
do with
spouse
God.
not good
You know?
enough. If you watching pornography, it takes pornography so your wife or your husband can't turn you on. So it takes pornography. That's kind of disrespectful to them. That's what you basically saying. It takes me to get me turned up for you. So it takes you watching and pornography. I mean, it's easy access too. I mean,
Oh my,
today
especially in
Yeah,
2020.
you
Yeah,
can type it in and you
absolutely.
can see it. So it's not it's not like it's hard to look at.
Yeah,
It's very easy. It's right there
yeah.
for you to look at. I mean, this is like $1 billion business right here.
and let's not forget, Keandre, even from regular television.
Thank you. You took the
I
words
went
out of
in
my
on
mouth.
this too,
It's
so it's
soft
not
porn.
like exactly. I
Yeah.
don't have to go to the website. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Pornography website on my phone. It's right there on my television
But it used
on
to
a
be a time
regular
where
TV show.
used to be a time when younger. I know me. I'm gonna tell my son, my cousin. You go Cinemax late at night. You don't gotta go late at night on Cinemax no
Nope.
more. These shows more showing it. You just can watch it, looking, and you be like, man, like you watch something like Power. Oh, it's there. You be like, man. Then you looking at like, oh man, look at what they doing. Man, I wish
You're
I could
right.
Yeah,
do that, or I
You
wish
right,
I
Ken.
could do that.
Because
and
remember
you know
back in
what?
the day,
Go ahead.
when it was only accessible if you bought videos and you had to go to
Yep,
the
yeah,
drugstore, or you had to have cable and you had to get the Playboy channels.
yep. You don't gotta do it
Yeah,
no more. You don't
Now you don't need to do
gotta do it no
that.
more.
It's accessible right in your hand in these
it
phones right here.
is. It
Right
is.
here.
Well,
It's
sex sells.
accessible.
Sex makes money. Let's be
It
Yeah.
honest.
does. It
Sex sells.
does.
It's been since the Bible time. This sex, it's been like that.
But Keandre, the only reason why it is because we are human. We're
That's
natural.
right.
We're in nature. It's nature. That's all it is. It's a nature thing in regards to us, and we're human, and we want instant gratification. We
Right.
want
Oh,
it.
yeah, we do. Because
Our
it's
body,
flesh.
our
It's
bodies
always
want
look.
instant gratification. If I see something on TV, sure enough, I'm gonna be like all on Jeffrey because Jeff is my husband. Because I saw something and it reacted to my body, and now I'm in his face. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful, because what if you came home and your wife or your spouse, whoever, is very tired or they are sick, and then you see something on TV that, got you in the mood now. You can't just go in there and bother about your spouse because you want to give them their space or respect or whatever. But it's gonna be very hard because now you got all hyped up. You're ready to roll. You're ready to go. Like you done took a Viagra or something, and you're
And
ready to get up in the bed. And I'm sitting up there telling you, no. See, that's why you have to be careful, because the body is naturally going to react. But you
well,
still got to do what you're supposed to do. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You still gotta make a decision. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with my spouse. He said he was tired, he exhausted, you know what I'm saying? But damn, I'm gonna go in here. You know what I'm
but it
saying?
don't work like that though. So when I come home see people, that's the thing. When you watch the show, it don't work like that. We coming home, we tired. First, I got kids, so we just can't come. Me and my wife, we just go at it. what are
Like
you?
y'all in the jungle.
Yeah, you can't. That's the thing about watching that type of stuff. You look at it,
Unrealistic.
you look at it like, oh man, look at that position. Man, you got arthritis. You can't do that position. You go end up in the hospital. Now I'm being real. Some
Robert.
people, you be
Robert. Yes.
end up in the hospital because of some of these sexual positions, and the doctor
You're
be like,
right.
what happened? You trying to do that move that
Yeah.
video y'all was watching. Unrealistic expectation. Okay, we gotta be real with ourselves and be real. It's meant for us to have urges. Okay, now some people they celibate. Okay, but a lot of people, we're not celibate. We have urges, and then for the single people, and that's not saying in church take a cold shower. Let me tell you something. That cold shower, and that's done. We need some other outlets to help us. Okay, when we get these urges, okay, what should we do when we get the urges? I'm single. I've been single before. What should we do when we get these urges? I think we need to talk to people. What can you do when you get these urges without watching pornography and getting caught up? Because that's a stronghold. That's a spirit. And once you get into that, it's hard to get out of that.
And you know what, Ken? You said something good, because that taps into my life. Like, you two are married,
Right.
and I mean, obviously, you have to watch yourself even within your marriage, because you don't want to bring the wrong spirit between, in your bedroom with your spouse. But I'm single, so I'm living the single life. And so you bring up a valid point. And I think a lot of the things that have been said over the years, the cold shower, those things are actually valid. It doesn't mean that it's the only thing that you do. I
Right.
think you have to equip yourself with many
100%.
avenues to help you stay sane and stay out of that. And I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. Like, I wasn't one that took a cold shower, but do I believe it might can help? It possibly can. But I wouldn't just depend on that. I would.
Right.
And I had to learn through the years I had to have accountability partners. I had to keep myself occupied. I had to stay away from certain stuff. And even to this day, I absolutely choose not to look at certain things. I was never a power person. I just didn't get into that show. Like,
Right.
everybody talking about, and I was like, what's the hype? Started to look at it, looking at the first season, and to this day, I still haven't even finished maybe the second season. It's too much for me. I'm a single woman. I can't take all of that, because in the end, I'm true to myself and I know who I am. I don't need to digest that kind of action. And so some people will say, oh, where's cussing? Well, I can block that out. That's the kind of stuff don't bother me. But when I see these bodies and they doing all these sorts of things,
Right.
which I desire, because I'm not a virgin, but I'm celibate, I don't need to see that. So I've opted I don't need to finish looking at power. That's my decision for me, for the betterment of me. I can't do that. And so, just piggybacking on what I said and coming back to where you were at, Kenandre, is that I think all those things can work. You just have to figure out what works for you. I don't think we can devalue any of it. It's just figure out what works for you. All of those things can work. And not only that, it can work if you want it to work.
Thank you. That's what I'm about to say
Because if
next.
you have a true heart and desire to say, I don't want to live this life,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to do this, you gonna try to figure your way out of that hole. If you done
Right.
fell into a trench, you gonna figure your way out of that trench. Now you might be there for a minute, you might get too deep in it. Well, there you need somebody to rescue you. But my point is, if you want to get out, you're gonna try to figure your way out of it.
Now
If
you
you content, you will keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
right about that.
So that's why I
Yeah.
said I believe all those things that we've heard as single people can work and be valuable if we wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
That's
you
what
right
you
about that.
want.
You can work out. That may be one
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good way. Yeah.
So because I mean
Most
you can work
definitely.
out, but it's good to have who's in your circle, who are you talking to, who you hanging
Right.
around with. And a lot of it has to do with that. Some people you shouldn't hang around with. Like if you marry or you hang
Hmm.
around a lot of single people,
Right.
because that can lead you into something that you don't want to do or whatever and stuff like that. Because some people, everybody got different perspectives of things. Everybody
Yeah,
don't
they do.
whatever. You have to watch who you talking to when it comes to this topic because this can lead you to somewhere that you don't want to go. I remember the movie, that Tyler Perry movie with that girl. What was that movie? The Counselor, or what was it called? When dang, I can't think of it. But she, her husband.
Oh, the counselor, something
Yes,
counselor.
that's a
Yeah, I
very
know what
good
Oh,
you're
movie.
speaking about.
temptation.
Yes, because she was getting bored with her husband and stuff like that. Granted, he forgot her birthday, whatever. But here's this other guy, he's the spontaneous person, and he's the person that, oh man, he got the money and everything. But come to find out, that guy had AIDS. Okay,
Hmm.
you left a relationship.
Yeah. And abusive.
Yeah, he was abused. He
Exactly.
beat that girl down. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes in relationships, we always think the grass is green on the other side. Okay. It's like married people want to be single, single people want to be married. When you're married, now you want to be single. But when you were single, you want to be married. Okay. Because you gotta understand times change. So when I first got married to my wife Amanda, which would be 10 years December 18th, times have changed. People
Hmm.
change. Okay, it was a time where we was by ourselves. Now we have two daughters. Okay, when we talk about sex, when we talk about America, we have to understand this. And as man, I'm gonna speak for a man point of view. A lot of times, men be like, "Well, my wife is not having a lot of sex with me." But what are you doing around the house? A lot of times that could be rectified. A lot of our guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, our guys come home, we just sit down, we don't help wash a dish, we don't mop a floor, we don't do nothing. And then you're wondering why, because you gotta understand, she's working too, and she's a mother, and sex takes energy. It takes energy. And you
Yes,
know
it
what?
does.
You have the energy. But that's when the pornography comes into play for the male. Like, okay, I'm gonna pop in this movie and I'm just gonna make myself happy. But then a lot of people, and they go for women too. They get. That's why some of them got a lot of batteries. They be like, "Hey, let me go stock. I stocked up on battery." Now you get so induced in that you're not having sex the way God intended to be. That's when the
Mm.
pornography lead to. See, pornography lead to ways like that. See, the
Mm.
way God intended to have sex between man and woman in marriage, you watch this porno video and all these issues. So you got all these thoughts becoming movies in your head and in your mind, even at work.
Yeah.
You got people at work watching porno, or they go in the bathroom and leave. Let's just be honest.
You're right.
They do.
That's so
Real
true.
It's
talk
very
there.
strong. Even Kurt Franklin talked about it. He had a problem with it. He had a problem
Mhm.
with pornography. Once you get in something, my dad used to always say, you have to watch what you open your eyes to and what you bring into your house, because things have spirits attached to it. And when you bring a certain spirit in, it's hard to get a certain spirit out. And pornography is a very strong spirit, and you have to watch where you look at that. Just like Felicia said, Power, yeah. You watching Power single, I wouldn't advise you be watching that. Because then you're going to go out and make a mistake, and you're going to be, and then you may get pregnant, and you crying at the altar, oh, Jesus. But you should have been watching that. So
Mhm.
you should have been watching that. You should have been watching 50 Shades of Grey. That's not for you. Everybody, you know what you've been through in your background, what God brought you out.
Right.
He ain't trying to make the same mistake. Why God doesn't lead us to temptation?
He does not.
It said that in the word, did it? No,
We are enticed by our own desires.
right.
And you know what? Something else I thought about too is this is another angle with it too. How do we even get to the point of where we're looking at these things?
Mm.
What even get, because I just don't believe that a person, once they get married, they're into pornography. I don't believe that once a person is an adult, they get into pornography.
Right,
There's a root to that thing that got you
right.
into that. And I'm speaking for myself. And I'm also coming as an advocate, and I'm talking to parents. If you have kids and just anybody, your nieces, nephews, or whatever, please watch what they're seeing and
Yeah.
Yeah.
watch what they're looking at. What you think is innocent, especially in 2020, it is not. Everything is accessible to our young girls and young boys. I mean, the cartoons now that we see,
Oh
everything.
yeah.
And I'm speaking as someone who had Pandora's box open as a child. So I'm coming with experience of you have to watch what your children are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I lived a life of pornography. I'm being transparent. I found pornography as a teenager out of curiosity. It wasn't because nothing happened. I was just always a curious kid. Oh, how does that work? Oh, most kids are like that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it was accessible to me,
Right.
and it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have been accessible to me. And because it was, it set up a path and a lengthy life of heartache and opened up other gates because now I done seen this and now I'm curious and now I want to keep doing it. I want to do what they do. I want to hear me when I say I'm talking to my parents. Watch what your kids are watching,
Yeah.
especially in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, their phones. I'm speaking what I know. And I'm speaking from when I was in 1995. Now that lets you know that's what, over 20 some years ago. But it's worse now. It's
No, it's much
worse
worse.
because
Mm-hmm.
I saw it looking at a DVD or VHS. So that lets you know how old this was. Our kids, it ain't that hard now.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't that hard now. And I know from what I lived what that does to a young person.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you down a road you should not be on. It takes you down a road you are not to be on. It opens up too much,
It
too many
does.
portals, curiosity. Oh, well, wait. And then it's a whole lot that come with that.
It sure does.
So I'm just being an advocate right now as we're talking about this because it's bigger than, oh, me and my husband, my husband might want to bring some pornography into the bedroom. It's bigger than that.
It really is.
It's bigger than
It's
that.
bigger than
It
that.
is.
Because let me put up what Amanda said. She said each time you watch pornography or strong sexual content, it takes a stronger, more graphic visual to get you aroused, much like drugs.
Mm,
So even if you know run across something, you just continue to keep looking at it. Sure enough, you're gonna be looking into some other things and
that's
going into
right.
you're gonna find yourself driving to fantasy land
You're
and
right.
buying all types of toys and animals and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, if the opportunity presents itself, you may find yourself in places that you shouldn't be in. You may find yourself sleeping with people that you shouldn't be sleeping with. Even same sex people, you know what I'm saying? And that may not even be your walk of life. But it's like you're
But it'll
open
open
up.
up that gate.
Exactly. You
It'll
open up
open it
other
up. Hear
portals.
me.
So don't just think, oh, I'm just gonna do it this one time.
That's
What?
right.
Nah.
But why even tempt yourself as if, oh, nothing's gonna happen to me after. I could just put this down. But you don't know. You don't even know if you will just be able to do this thing one time. You don't know that because this is a natural thing. This is something that you are doing to the body, and the body absolutely um, aroused every single time.
No, you
Every single time. Even while I'm watching
Yep.
stuff on TV, I'm just sitting there drinking my tea. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there sitting, and then something pop up. I'm like, oh my Lord. My
Right,
body,
right.
even while I'm drinking my tea and my eyes are on it, guess what? My body parts
It's
are
reacting. It's reacting to
they're
it.
already moving. They
Mm-hmm.
are moving, throbbing, whatever you want to call it. And then once it starts moving, then my mindset start going places. But if I'm in a position where I don't want to have sex, or I may not feel like having sex, or whatever, especially with me being married, it's a different thing. But when I was single, it was so much totally different because when I was
Yeah.
single, I had made a decision to be a celibate. So, of course, I wanted to have sex, but it was a choice that I had made, so it made it even harder because you done made a decision to be a celibate. Okay, so I'm sitting there drinking my tea, and then something pop up. Oh my Lord, help me, Jesus!
Right, right.
I do this while I'm sitting up here drinking my tea. I said I was gonna hold myself. I said I was not gonna do this, Lord. I'm gonna have to go turn this TV on. What a remote. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to turn the channel because I'm trying to be the person who I know God has called me to be. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to be the person who I desire to be. And not only that, I desire to be married. I don't want to go sleeping with people. I don't want to go in my bedroom and have sex with myself. I don't want to go
Right.
to tours. You know what I'm saying? So if you made a decision to not do those things, then when something pops up, you're gonna have to tear it down.
Yeah.
To tear it down, you have to nip it in the bud
Immediately. Yeah.
immediately because if you
Yeah.
don't, it's just gonna sit there and
Yeah.
fester, baby. You gonna be sitting up there like, whew.
And going back to something you said, Tyra, a lot of times we underestimate things and we think we're more powerful and greater
Exactly.
than some of these things. Pornography, I came into the knowledge of it in my teenage years. I wasn't until an older adult until I finally got delivered from it. So and I viewed pornography out of curiosity. It wasn't because somebody brought it to my attention, was like, "Hey, let's check this out." It was just me being a curious teenager, like, "Well, what's this? You seen the cover? Well, what is all this about?" And now Pandora's box is done burst
Exactly.
open, and not only that, the enemy is like, "Yes." Because he loved to play with us in that area. He loved to tear us
Mm-hmm.
down in that area of sexuality and stuff. So I'm like, oh my God. So what we think I can do this. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's so many people that think they so strong.
And
There's
that,
a young lady that I
well,
follow on Facebook. Some of you guys out there, some of my viewers right now may be familiar with her, but her name is Nicole Apostolic, but her real name is Nicole Collins. She's on Facebook and
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see her story. And I love what she says. Her story is powerful, like 20 plus years, homosexuality, trans, lesbian.
Mhm.
And I was looking at a live the other day of her, and she said she was almost about to start taking hormones to turn into a man. And she said it was because of the Holy Spirit that kept her from doing it because she was saved as a young girl. She was saved as a teenager prior to her going down this road. But the point I'm making is she always says it was one night choosing to go out with these certain people that kept her trapped in a world of sin, of this type of sin, for 20 plus years.
why
So,
not?
what we think we are so strong in sometimes, the enemy is sitting there like, yeah, okay, let me show you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he would do to all of us. And so maybe
That's
pornography
right.
is not your thing. Maybe you got that under wraps, but it's something that you deal with and still fighting with because you probably think you're stronger, but nah, you're not. And that's where we have to give those things over to God
Yeah.
because He's the actual strongest one of all.
That's all true.
But from a male perspective, it's like when you're younger, it's like you're encouraging the pressure as a male to have
Yeah,
sex. I mean, that's
I
the
can see
thing.
that.
Like, man, hey, did you hit that? You haven't hit that yet. I mean, come on. If you are, a male, younger male that is a virgin, then that's be like people look at you like, what's wrong with you? So society, I know
Mm-hmm.
it's different from female to male. If you're a female having sex with a whole bunch of dudes, well, you a hoe. But if you're a
Yeah,
male, Yeah, that's cool.
You're the champ.
That's cool, and
Yeah.
I'm just speaking real right now. That's cool, and as for the young generation, it's cool. It's the pressure of having sex and whatever and stuff like that, and and for males, we're visual and stuff like that. So looking at stuff like that, man, we looking at it, group man, we looking at it, just kicking it, just looking at this stuff, not realizing what the door is open for other things to come in. Because we don't realize that. And then, like Felicia said earlier, that a lot of people have, been molested. That turns them into the world of pornography. Okay. Sometimes people like women or somebody have low self-esteem or whatever. That's why you have some women who are prostitutes, they have low self-esteem, and let a guy or a woman pimp them. Probably most likely some of the time, I'm saying all the time, when they was younger, they had a sexual experience with somebody that opened the door. Okay. And we really have to, like Felicia said, we really have to be, we have to talk about sex. Okay. Like let's say you dating somebody, you talking about getting married, talk about sex. Talk about, because you don't want to get on the honeymoon night and you thinking, I'm going to do this. And then she's like, but you didn't talk about that. But see,
exactly.
In the church about that. Before you get married, you need to talk about everything. You need to be completely naked before the person that you about to marry. I mean, credit score, everything. Let's talk about sex. Maybe this person ain't going to do this. You've been all your life, you've been saying, I'm going to do this and do that. But your spouse like saying, I'm not doing that. So a lot of times for married couples, what can lead to maybe not watching pornography, maybe if we communicate and telling your spouse, listen, hey, I would like for you to do this. I would like for you to do that. And first of all, we have to understand too, women sexually and men are different. Man, it don't take out much. We watch it, boom. Women don't operate like that. You gotta, I do like foreplay, stuff like that. But these conversations that need to be had. Okay, but a lot of times we don't talk about it and we just go to something to get our flesh gratification and get, I'm getting mine regardless. You ain't gonna give me mine. Well, I'm gonna go get it. It's just like a drug. I smoked the weed, but now I'm gonna graduate to doing cocaine. That ain't doing it, so I'm gonna go to crack. So it's just this is a graduation to get my fix going on.
Yeah. Because I was going to say something about when you said that it's different for males when they are looking at pornography. But when you have been, let's say for example, a teenager is watching pornography, then as he gets an adult, it's no telling how many experiences he has had in those times.
In that time frame.
So now you want to settle down and get married. But it's no telling what type of fantasies that you may have accumulated over the years, and now you want your wife to go in there and do some S&M, spank you on the behind and
whip you and all that. Treat you like a slave.
She may not have no clue. She may not have no clue of even doing.
I didn't sign up for
that. Oh my God! What type of man am I married?
I didn't sign up for that. That's
you give expectations, just like you were talking about earlier. You have the expectation, and it's because of the experiences that you have accumulated. And then, pornography does that, even for females. When we see it too, we see how endowed some men may be on these pornography sites, and we have such a high expectation for our spouse. We're looking at it like, oh wow. When you get married, you may have a baby, the expectation going out the window because because pornography opened up that door. It opened up the door.
Set up a false reality.
False reality.
And you thinking that person, I want this person to go an hour. They not going no hour, man. You get mad. Oh, and it like, I mean, people are tired. I'm working and stuff like that. I got other stuff going on. And then, real. Oh, we going to go hours and hours. I'm going to go all night. Ain't nobody going all night. You going to be asleep. Let's just be real with it.
False reality. False reality. And can we just say this? I mean, it's neither here or there, but those are scripted anyway. It appears that they're doing that. Those are scripted.
They're probably taking pills and everything. So, and then you're going to get some pills and try it. Then you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself in the hospital. You're going to hurt yourself. Then you got this stuff now, the WAP, the music video by Cardi B. That's basically pornography. So you got girls saying, I got them WAP. And the guys want that WAP. So they want that. Okay? But then again, this is what the devil does. He takes something that is good and he's going to say, okay, I'm going to make it enticing. I'm going to make it wrong. Because sex is not wrong. It's not wrong.
It's not.
It's not. I want to make
the enemy corrupted it. That's what the problem is.
The enemy corrupted it, and then people making money in. You got the WAP now, and girls. You got little girls say, "I got that WAP. I got that WAP." And I'm not gonna say what it means. But listen, you just watched a music video by Cardi B, and she promoting, telling little girls, look. Teaching little girls, not teaching little girls, how to be, a doctor, nurse, or whatever. Somebody, she's teaching about WAP. About WAP. Okay? So at a young age, you looking at that, that's your mindset. Okay? I got that WAP. So you using that, girl using that WAP to get the guys. Some girls use, and men too, they use sex to get what they want. Okay? That's what they do. And that's why you have to watch. Even you got to watch reading books. You got sex novels.
Yeah.
You got these novels turn into a movie. 50 Shades of Grey was a novel. It turned into a movie. So you got to watch what you read. You be reading that, then you getting your own movie in your mind and in your
right. Yeah. You got a whole script.
Well, yeah, you got your own Netflix. I don't need it. I got my own and stuff like that. An expectation, but like I keep saying, you have like expectation. Like people got different sexual expectation based on probably their sexual experience, and maybe some of them have bad sexual experience. What about you dealing with a woman who has been raped? You may have to you have to go to counseling for that. See, issues like that. Hey, you got to go counseling. You may have been a guy who got locked up and you got raped. That's to talk about some real issues here. Now your mind is, that may lead you to like men and stuff like that if you're not careful. Or with women, they used to have the song, I kiss a girl and I like it. You try, let's try it. No, don't try it. Because that's that little thing, that little kiss lead to a big old thing.
And we don't realize that the enemy is sitting waiting. He's waiting. Oh, yeah. He's waiting for any door and any opportunity. He doesn't even need a door. I just need a crack is what I see him as. The enemy, all he needs is a crack from us. And he's going to burst through that thing any way that he can. He's going to bring the temptation. And I think that's what we forget too with the enemy. He knows our weaknesses. He knows where we weak at. And he's never going to pry on the strong parts of us. He's going to come to the negative and weak sides of us. That's where he's going to always work us at, is where we are weakest at. Always. And that's where we have to truly, depend and trust in the Lord and call upon him for those areas. I mean, all areas of our lives. But it starts with us being true and honest with ourselves. So then we can be true and honest with God and let him know, you know what, God, I really need you. This area I'm weakened in. And the enemy knows it. And I need you. I need your strength. I need a strategy to get through this. I need a strategy. And earlier we was talking about with like pornography as it relates to like relationships. I know for me, if I was to get married, Lord, allows me to get married, I know that cannot be introduced into my marriage.
Mhm.
It cannot. I've lived that life already, and I know what it leads to, and I don't want that in my marriage.
And that's a
And so for
conversation you
me,
tell them, hey
yeah, and
man,
that's a
we ain't
conversation that
having,
would definitely
we're
be
not
had.
having those,
Exactly.
you
But
know,
They'll
then,
just
and then that's gonna
continue.
open up something else for me too. Because if you into that, we can't even be together anyway. So that means you
yeah.
got some other issues. But that's personal. That's Felicia. I just feel like I'll say this: we as saints, in my personal opinion, we should not even be teetering with that stuff. That is not for us. I don't. I understand the bed is not defiled. I'm not getting into nobody's beds or nothing like that. I'm unmarried, but I do believe if we really took some thought and really sat back and reflect, where does God get the glory in that?
That's a good
Sitting
question.
up, sitting up watching other people have sex, whether it's two men, two women, man or woman. Where did God get the glory in that? Where does that edify us as the body of Christ?
But that's the question I was thinking, Felicia. What does that edify us as a
Yeah,
married couple? Because I know the scripture does say that the bed is honorable,
Right.
because you're married.
right.
Y'all can have sex with each other. But at the same time, if we're watching pornography together, my thought is where's that edifying us as a married couple? Because I'm looking up your side of your head. Okay, so you prefer to have that over
Over
this?
me, yeah.
Oh, this
I'm right here in front of you.
you got all this
Yeah,
money.
you want a virtual woman. That's what you, so that woman's virtual. You ain't, and you over the real thing. But you know they got like sex dummies now, like
The
mate
dolls.
the
Mhm.
dog. So they done made everything. You got sex dolls now and all that kind of stuff. And then I want to bring to another point. Remember Ted Bundy? Look at him. Pornography can lead to a lot of you look at
A
you.
lot of stuff.
It can lead to a serial killer. Ted Bundy was having sex with dead women. He didn't want them to have sex with them live. He wanted to have sex when they did. Now, that's a serious problem.
Mm,
You want a dead woman?
yeah.
I mean, come on now. But this is the stuff, though. As a child, he had I can't remember all details about his childhood, but his childhood wasn't a normal childhood. Okay. And a lot of times, what is happening is we don't deal with our past. We don't deal with it. Therefore, it deals with us. And
Mm,
it really, a lot of times what's happening is you're not getting blessed because you're not dealing with the issue. That issue is blocking your blessing. It's blocking your blessing. It's the fact that you can't have a relationship because you won't deal with it and stuff like that. And pornography is like that. Pornography, a lot of people, the reason why is because that pornography is just pulling you and just blocking you for a lot of things. You keep watching it. I mean, it's addiction. It's a serious problem. It's a drug addiction, like alcoholism. It's like that. You get addicted. People watch that every day. You got people they get enough sex and they still watch pornography because
Yeah.
the person that they have as a sexual partner is still not enough for them. You know why? Because you have watched this for so long, and that's your gratification. That was never intended for God. Never intended like that. I mean, and you look at the Bible. Look at David. David had a problem with sex and women and stuff like that. They said when David was old, they brought a woman, and they said David must be dead. They didn't do anything. But that's how David was. David was a great worshiper, great king, but he had a sex problem. He
he
had a
loved
problem
God,
with
but
women.
yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
understand, you have to understand, people in the Bible, they had problems, they had issues. Some of the
They
greatest
did.
people we know of
Had
had
issues.
some drama. I mean, look at Lot. Let's go to that story. So
I
Lot
feel
was
like
a
all them men in the Bible had some issues with these women because everybody had a concubine.
well,
Concubine,
yeah,
full of
that's
houses
okay.
full of women. I'm like, why you gotta have all them women? But that's
But
another
you got to
story.
think, but that's what God allowed prior.
That was
That
God
was
allowed.
honorable in God's eye at that time. So
But
to
look
us,
at,
it don't make sense right now because we didn't live in that era. But for that time frame, that was what God allowed, and I'm so glad He changed it.
well, yeah, but look at Lot. Lot had his daughters got Lot drunk and had sex with him because it said wasn't no
Right.
man. See, people need to read the Bible. The Bible is entertaining. They got a lot of stuff for you to read. It's
I love it.
entertaining.
He
People
said
think the Bible
entertaining.
boring.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
And Lot, his daughters had sex with him because it wasn't no more man. Got him drunk. This is the Bible.
Yeah. Let's go through these comments. Amanda said that you have to fight to rid yourself of the desire for pornography. Because
Absolutely
like we were
true.
saying earlier, just go ahead and nip it in the bud, you know what I'm saying? And there is a double standard when it comes to males and females, but we have got to get out of that. Even church folks do a double standard on men and women
You're right.
when it comes to
Right, right.
sexual
Say
issues
that.
as
Say it.
well. We really do need to eradicate double standards, to be
Right.
honest. Amanda said, be honest with what you do and do not like in the bedroom, because we are going to satisfy our desires one way or
Right.
another. Because some people, they are going to go and satisfy themselves one way or the other if they're not getting what they need from the spouse.
Right.
But we both need to be honest with what we need and what we do not like. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your spouse. You should be able to go tell that person what it is that you don't like and what it is that you won't do, or whatever the case may be. Or a man may say, "Well, baby, this is what I like," and the woman may say, "Well, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna do that." But see, that's the thing that we need to recognize too, that a male and a female, depending on how their childhood was, especially when they were teenagers, they have some of us have more experience. Some of us, you know what I'm saying, have more experience than the other person. And that needs to be shared. You know what I'm saying? Because they may have a false reality. They may have some false expectation that they think that their spouses may need to be doing or should be doing. But we be wanting something more. And so that's a topic that we also going to be talking about in September too, about marriages, especially sexless marriages. You know,
Oh,
when
Oh.
when the spouses are not having sex because of these type of issues. Tori said that's good. It does open up a door of a false reality, as well as pornography can open up the door to so many demonic
Oh my
spirits.
goodness. Yes, it can.
Because there's so many things that can happen from one little episode on the show. You know what I'm saying? One episode. Don't underestimate yourself or tempt yourself as if you are stronger, you can handle
Right.
this, or I could just do this one time. You do not know what you could do. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you could do. You don't know how this could end up or how you could end up in whatever situation that you may be. Just don't do it at all. But if you happen to do it, happen to get into pornography and
Right.
it turn into an addiction, I do want you to know that you can be delivered from pornography.
Yes.
Because, just like Kenandre said, Kirk Franklin had a problem with pornography, as well as Terry Crews. He
Yeah.
also shared his experience. So you have some celebrities that also had these type of issues. So they let you know that you can be delivered. You can get rid of it. But you got to do a lot of work, though. You got to do the work. And that is, you're going to have to get rid of things that's in your household. If you got some things in your household that could get you back into the space that you was before, you gonna have to get rid of them. The magazines, those books,
Yeah.
those. Even with your phone, you can set up your internet where if you type in a certain word, it's blocked. You know what I'm saying? And just in case people don't know, you can do that on your internet where you can put access
Mm-hmm.
certain block certain access on your phone,
The website.
so that nobody in the household can see it. And then you can also get rid of certain channels on the TV, because when I was in my 20s, I had to get rid of Cinemax because baby, Cinemax at midnight. Woo!
midnight
It
is
was
on.
hot.
That's a party. Me and my cousin know. He'd go downstairs of my grandma's house, Cinemax. Then when she come, I'll hurry up, change the channel. So
You right.
back
Right.
I'm being honest.
That's true.
That was great. Cinemax, but you don't even need Cinemax now. You don't need no Cinemax these days.
Yeah.
So that
So
was
whatever channels you got, you're gonna have to get rid of them. You're gonna have to cut it off. You have to turn those channels off, turn that cable off if you have to, and then find some people that can be held accountable, that can help
Yeah.
hold you accountable. That can also be like a sponsor for you, so that when you do have a moment, you can call them and say, okay, I'm having a bad day, and I know that this is something that I used to do when I was stressed out, or when something was going on in my life. This is what I used to do, but I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm calling you. I'm calling on you. So that helps as well. And Kenandre
Yeah.
said something about the cold shower. I never had to do that. There was other things that I had to do when I was younger that helped
Yeah.
me to cause pretty much I just got rid of everything. I got
Yeah.
rid of everything, all the
Yeah.
DVDs.
And
Uh,
that's even with music. I mean, I think
yeah.
about we all kind of all three of us are in the same age bracket, so we remember our music from our generation.
mhm.
And compared to now, it was kind of clean. Well, not some certain artists weren't, but I would say especially now, you got to eliminate some of the music. You need to go to your
Yeah.
Apple Music and start deleting some stuff because
Yeah.
you don't need a song like WAP on rotation. You don't need
That's
all these
true.
other different artists that are out and that their songs all they do is promote
Well,
sex,
it's the spirit
drugs, and
behind
whatever
music.
else.
We should write the spirit behind music. That's why
Yes, it
Saul
is.
said, David, hey, Saul has trouble sleeping, so he got David. David, was real good playing the harp. There's a spirit behind music. People don't realize that music can help, but then you go the other way.
Depends on what you
Right.
listen to. Hmm.
Like R. Kelly, that's a spirit behind them songs or whatever. Not all the songs. I'm not saying listen to R. Kelly is bad because it's good. When you want to get in the mood, I'm not gonna listen to "Oh Precious Lord" Take My Hand. Now they get you in the mood. You may need to. I'm like, oh no.
But that's so true. I mean, let's keep it real. Because I being single, I'm even saying that ain't no way in the world we gonna have some Kurt. We gonna have some, the caravans or somebody up on no rotation. And I done took it way back.
Hmm.
I said the caravans.
Caravans.
Man, I'd have took it back, didn't I? But yeah, ain't no way in the world in that moment I am gonna be like, Jesus, take me near the cross. No, no.
Now
Yeah.
if they do, I'm gonna be kind of like, well, I'm not gonna mess with you because that's gonna scare me. Take you to the
It
park,
would
get
scare
in the
me.
mood.
It
I'm like,
would.
stop. No, no, no. I'm cool on that.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm
And
cool on that.
the last thing that I was gonna say was is that we gotta stop making excuses, making it seem
Mhm.
like, well, because I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot from especially people of God. They say, well, the Lord gonna forgive me. He knows my heart, and it's hard. It's so very hard. God knows it's hard to live your life holy, but that's a lie. It's hard because you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah, the
But
flesh won't, but it won't.
thank you. But
Mhm.
you want to do what you want to do, but you also want to do what God wants you to do. But at the same time, you're making it seem like, okay, this is the devil, want me to, he doing this, he doing that, and blah blah blah, all that. But
Right.
you're still being enticed by your own desires, what it is that you want to do. So you're gonna have to sit down and be honest with yourself and say, okay, the reason why this is so hard for me is because I want to do it. I like doing it. It's
That's right.
okay to admit that. It's okay to
There it
admit
is.
that you like having sex, that you like looking at other people having sex. It's okay to admit that, but you also have to be honest with God and say, Lord, but this is not what you want of me to do.
Mm.
How is
Right.
this? How is this edifying you? How are you getting the glory out of this? You know what I'm saying? God ain't getting no glory out of that. Or you
None.
walk around here having sex with so many people, or you walk around here looking at porn while you're at your job, or even while you're in church, you're in the back with the phone up,
Whoa.
pornography. Come on now, because you're
Hey.
addicted
Yeah.
to it. I'm just
I've
saying.
seen. Yeah,
I'm
I've
just
seen
being
where people
honest.
driving
Mhm. That
and
that's not
relieving themselves.
and
I've
then
seen
Yeah.
that where men are
relieving
driving,
themselves.
relieving themselves.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, what's in your brain to make you feel like at this stop sign you needed to do that? Like what And so all I know, I always know there's something deeply rooted. Cause just a
Yeah.
sane person, just an everyday person, just ain't, oh, I'm at the stop sign. Ooh, I feel like I need to. There's
There's
something
nothing
there.
wrong with that. At a stop
Because
sign, you don't have
crazy.
that
There
much
has to be
time.
something there.
Right.
And you hit take, and man, you may have to fast. That's a word we're like, yeah,
Now
you may have
there it
to
is.
fast. I mean, I'm talking about because when you fast, you get rid of all the distractions. That means I'm not gonna get, on the TV, Facebook. I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna
Exactly.
have, because when you got all those things, God can't talk to you. But when you truly fast, when you got a problem, it said in the Bible, it takes fasting and
That's
praying.
right.
Some things take that, and you just got to
Amen.
discipline enough to say,
Amen.
I put myself on a fast. I know we don't like to do it. You got to
Right.
put a plate fast, but there's all different type of fasts. Maybe it's not a fast where you're not eating, but I'm fasting from Facebook. I'm fasting from TV because if I'm dealing with pornography, those are the things that are
Right.
resources that I can watch pornography. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to watch Facebook and TV, and I'm going to fast. I'm going to set a day and a time that I'm going to keep doing this until I get this problem solved. And then you got to talk to people.
Exactly.
Maybe you go, and maybe you don't have to necessarily be your pastor. Maybe you talk to a therapist. Maybe you talk to a real therapist and counselor. A lot of time in church, we not going, talking to counselor and therapist. What do you think they're here for?
That's
I
right.
mean, just because you're a pastor, you may not be a counselor to be depending on the issue or whatever and stuff like that. And then you
Yeah.
have to watch who you talk to because everybody can't handle your issue. You tell some
Yeah.
people,
That's
oh,
true.
pornography. Oh, they just back away from you. They don't even at church. They don't even say praise the Lord to you no more because you just told them.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell your business to everybody.
That's
Yeah.
right. You got to be
That's
Thing
selective.
to do.
That's
You
true.
gotta watch it. Who you
Mm-hmm.
tell it to? Okay, because everybody can't handle that. That's too much for them. Some people mind. Oh, man, you got that issue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like they all perfect. They don't got no issue.
You're right, Kenandre. That is something I truly believe in. Everybody is not equipped to carry your weight.
That's
No,
true.
not.
Everybody is not
Amen.
equipped. So you got to be very
Amen.
mindful and strategic on who you are talking to because everybody can handle everything. And then this is the other part of that. That doesn't make them bad people either.
No,
So we
That's
got to
true.
get that in our minds too.
no. Yeah,
Just
you're right.
because they can't handle it, it doesn't mean they're bad people. They are just not equipped to handle something of that
Right.
nature.
Yeah.
No,
And
you're
it's
right.
okay.
That's too heavy of a weight for them.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. And so you're gonna have to pray and ask the Lord to
Yeah,
send you someone that you can talk to because
you're
believe
right.
me, He will send somebody to you. You've
You're
been
right
crossed
about
somebody
that.
path where that's gonna be able to help you.
You're
But
right
you
about
gotta do
that.
this thing through fasting and prayer. You gotta do it. You
Yeah.
gotta go to the Lord and you gotta cry out to Him and
Right.
be honest and be vulnerable and say, Lord, I need this out of my system. You need it out of your system, and it's gonna take fasting and praying and talking to somebody. They're gonna take all that. But I want to say that I thank Kenandre for coming on here tonight and talking
Yes.
about this interesting topic because it was you said some good points on tonight. For those that missed the show on tonight, you can just go back and watch the replay. You'll get some good information on this. And if anybody's having a problem with these type of situations, I just pray that you do get the help that you need and that you understand that God still loves you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
God loves all of us and He wants the best for us. And God knows that these type of things can lead us in another avenue. So that's why when it comes to sexual immorality, um, especially in the Bible, that's why Paul talks about it all the time about certain things that we shouldn't do because it opens an avenue. It opens a door to other things that we shouldn't be at, in places that we shouldn't go. But we as people, if you don't know the word of the Lord, you don't know your Bible, you ain't reading your Bible, you know what I'm saying? You just out there by yourself. You really out there by yourself. You gotta
You're
know the
right.
word of
You're
God.
right.
You gotta know the word
Out
of
there
God.
stranded.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
right.
Yeah, Lord.
Before you jump, like your car stranded. Yep, you're right.
You're right. You're
No,
right.
you're right.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah. You
Well, if I
gotta
can
know.
end on this note, Tyra, and say again, I'm an advocate because of my own experience. Parents, protect your children.
Yes.
Protect your children's ear gates and their eye gates. I'm
Yeah.
talking from experience. I went through a lot as an adolescent. I went through a lot as an adolescent. My first kiss was at 5 years old, and it was my female cousin. I went through a lot as an adolescent. Protect your children. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that they're not still going to experience things. It doesn't mean that they're still not going to go down some valleys. It does not mean that because you can't be with them 24/7. But
That's
whatever you can do to protect them, protect your children because you don't want them 20 years, 30 years later having these same conversations we are because we didn't do our part.
that's right.
That's true. So y'all have a good night and have a good week on this week, and come on back with us next Sunday with another topic that we will be talking about with this sexual appetite series. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.